Ueno-san wa Bukiyou is absolutely delightful. I'm tempted to use the oft-repeated saying, it's not for everyone, but what show is for everyone anyways? Ueno-san wa Bukiyou follows the titular mad scientist Ueno-san and her assortment of inventions, all in service of her aim of winning over her clubmate Tanaka-kun's affection, each iteration equally if not more absurd than the last. In structure and character, it's reminiscent of series like Takagi-san and Tonari no Seki-kun, a variety of mostly episodic antics that you could jump into pretty much anywhere, with the girl unable to admit her own feelings. In this respect, particularly similar to Takagi-san and the manga Nagatoro-san. Enough with the comparisons though, it's not as if Ueno-san is so especially distinctive that you wouldn't be able to find shows of a similar nature without a lot of looking, especially seeing as this particular subset of humorous slice-of-life antics, with the girl as a sort of teasing figure trying to abuse the boy's embarrassment, seems to be a rapidly growing niche. Rather, I find it is in how it executes everything that makes for such an enjoyable experience. The aesthetic is soft and easy on the eyes, each of the characters distinctive from one another and easily distorted into all sorts of comical imagery. If one were to judge by frame count alone, Ueno-san would certainly not be the most impressive, but it plays its cards well with some very effective image distortion, exaggerated styles, and an attention to detail towards making every shot have some sort of compelling pose or expression, so that even if you're panning on a still frame for a bit, it isn't cause for concern as that frame looks pretty darn attractive. The reason I was interested in the show in the first place, and what still stands out to me as by far one of its best selling points, is purely the strength of Ueno-san's character design. The long, wild twin tails, which point this way and that, distorting with her rapid shifts in mood, are the perfect tool to accentuate her exaggerated expressions. And her wiggly mouth and off-flushed face matched against her angular eyes and facial structure creates this really compelling mishmash of characters. She's trepidatious, innocent, and embarrassed, but also a bit conniving, clever, and dominating. It aptly conveys the paradoxical nature of her character and her actions, upon which the majority of the show's humor springs from. Speaking of its humor, the show had me laughing plenty, or rather stifling laughs with my tablet PC screen pointed as far away from the public eye as possible, when I made the foolish choice of watching the show in public and the stubborn choice to continue. Though that embarrassment on my part is perhaps the most apt thing ever for the show itself. We see this lovely Lolita in varying states of duress and undress as she attempts to awaken the passionate man sleeping very deeply within Tanaka-kun, or perhaps entirely absent. Thus, the humor arises from her maniacal plots going astray and almost always ending in her own embarrassment and Tanaka-kun's oblivious confusion. Granted, the dim boy's complete and utter inability to pick up cues did grow difficult to believe at times, but the entirely cartoonish nature of the show makes it fairly easy to accept in most instances. What I think helps keep anything from growing tiresome is the pace with which it moves. Not only is each episode in this 12-long series half the duration of your average show, but those 12-minute episodes themselves are split up into two distinct segments as well, with each of the segments focusing on a new invention from Ueno-san and her attempts and failures in growing closer to Tanaka-kun through it. Factoring in the OP and ED, that basically means we're getting 5-minute comedic doses with a continually rotating prompt for the humor, as well as a fairly diverse cast that we're introduced to across it, so that it can operate within its by nature repetitive structure and still feel fresh enough to stay enjoyable the whole way through. I also particularly enjoy that the humor of it doesn't shy away from being gross or lewd. Of course, I'm aware it can be off-putting for some, just as the ultimate cringe in Watamote put some off, or the overt but hilarious creepiness of Uzumade put others off, in that case including myself. But without it, I don't think that I would have found myself chuckling anywhere near as much as I did. It's the epitome of only an anime, and while sometimes that descriptor can be annoying as a label when it feels dismissive of the more mature, not adult subjects at hand, it is still worth enjoying the fact that, yeah, something like this is pretty unique to anime. It's cute, short, and pretty funny. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, and if you'd like to help me keep making videos like this, then support me on Patreon, and let me know if you'd like to see more of these faster-paced reviews on seasonal videos. I'm playing around with all sorts of different formats lately, so if you like what I'm doing, let me know. Special thank you goes to my patrons Talon, Frogus, and Roggle, as well as all my other patrons. If you want to join the club, you can do so at patreon.com/corereviews. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.